Someone just showed you a photo of yourself, and you hated it. Not the lighting, not the angle, not the outfit. Your face. Something about it looked wrong, slightly off, like a stranger wearing your skin. But here is the strange part. Everyone else in the room thought the photo looked exactly like you. They thought it looked fine. So who is right? The answer is far stranger than you think, because the face you hate in that photo is your real face. And the face you like in the mirror is the one that doesn't exist. Think about your morning. You wake up, you walk to the bathroom, you look in the mirror. You do this every single day, thousands of times a year from the moment you were tall enough to see over the sink. That reflection is the face you know. It's the face you've studied while brushing your teeth, fixing your hair, checking your skin. It's the face you practice smiles with. But a mirror does something a camera never does. It flips you. Left becomes right. Right becomes left. The small tilt in your smile, the slightly higher eyebrow, the way your hair parts, the faint asymmetry in your nose, all of it reversed. That might sound trivial. It isn't. Because no human face is symmetrical. Not yours, not anyone's. One eye sits a millimeter higher. One side of the mouth pulls up more when you smile. Your jaw drifts slightly to one side. These differences are tiny, almost invisible on their own, but your brain is a face processing machine, and it registers every single one of them. So when you see a photo which shows your true unflipped face, every one of those tiny asymmetries lands on the wrong side. Your brain doesn't consciously notice what changed. It just sends up a quiet alarm. Something is off. This isn't the face I know. Now here's the question that matters. Why does unfamiliar automatically mean worse? Why doesn't your brain just shrug and say, huh, interesting, a new angle on my face? To answer that, you need to meet a psychologist named Robert Zajonc. In 1968, Zajonc, working at the University of Michigan, published research on something he called the mere exposure effect. The idea is almost embarrassingly simple. The more times you see something, the more you like it. Not because it gets objectively better, not because you learn anything new about it, simply because it becomes familiar. Zajonc showed people nonsense words, random shapes, foreign characters they couldn't read. Some appeared once, some appeared many times. Then he asked people which ones they preferred. Again and again, people chose the ones they had seen most often. They couldn't explain why. They just felt better. Why would a brain work this way? Think about your ancestors. For millions of years, an unfamiliar thing in your environment was a potential threat. A new sound in the grass, a new shape at the waterhole, a new face at the edge of the firelight. Unfamiliar meant unpredictable, and unpredictable could mean dead. But something you had seen 100 times and survived 100 times? That thing was safe. Your brain learned to translate familiarity directly into comfort, and comfort into preference. It's not logic, it's survival math, running silently underneath everything you like and dislike today. Now apply that math to your own face. Which version have you seen tens of thousands of times? The mirror version. Which version do you see rarely in scattered photos and awkward videos? The real one. Your brain has spent your entire life building its template of you from a flipped image. The photo violates that template, and your ancient threat detection system, the one built for spotting strange shapes at the waterhole, quietly whispers, "This is wrong." In 1977, a researcher named Theodore Maita, along with Marshall Dermer and Jeffrey Knight at the University of Wisconsin, decided to test this directly. The experiment was elegant. They took photographs of female students. Then they made two prints of each photo. One was the true image, the way the camera and the rest of the world saw that person. The other was mirror reversed, the way that person saw herself every day in the bathroom. Then they showed both prints side by side and asked a simple question. Which one do you prefer? The results split perfectly down the line of familiarity. The women themselves preferred the mirror-reversed print, the face they knew, but their close friends and romantic partners preferred the true print, the face they knew. Nobody was judging beauty. Everyone was judging familiarity and calling it beauty without realizing it. The same face flipped two ways, and two groups of people confidently picked opposite versions as the better-looking one. Let that sink in. The version of your face that you would choose as your best is a version no one else on Earth has ever seen. But the story gets stranger. Because your brain isn't just flipping your face, it's editing it. In 2008, psychologists Nicholas Epley and Aaron Whitchurch ran an experiment that should make you slightly uncomfortable. They photographed people's faces. Then, using morphing software, they blended each face, step by step, with a highly attractive composite face and separately with an unattractive one. So for each person, there was a lineup. Your real face in the middle. Versions of you made 10, 20, 30% more attractive on one side. Versions made less attractive on the other. Then they asked people to pick their actual unmodified photo out of the lineup. People couldn't do it. Or rather, they did it with a consistent, predictable error. They picked the version that was about 10 to 20% more attractive than reality. And they didn't just pick it, they recognized it faster. Their brains locked onto the enhanced face more quickly than their own true face, as if the flattering version was the one stored in memory. When the same people looked at photos of strangers, the effect vanished. They identified strangers' real faces accurately. The distortion only applied to themselves, so now count the layers. The face in your head is flipped. The face in your head is enhanced. The face in your head is also animated, because you almost never see yourself frozen. In the mirror, you are always moving, adjusting, unconsciously performing your best expressions. You tilt into your good angle without knowing you have one. You pre-smile. Psychologists sometimes note that people even have a rehearsed mirror face, a subtle arrangement of features you snap into the instant you see your reflection. A photo takes all of that away. A photo grabs 1/400th of a second, mid-blink, mid-word, mid-chew, from an angle you never chose, unflipped, unedited, unmoving. Of course it feels like a stranger. It's the collision of two versions of you. The one your brain spent decades constructing, and the one photons actually bounced off. Here's the question you should be asking now. If your self-image is flipped and flattered, does that mean everyone secretly finds you uglier than you find yourself? No. And this is the twist most people miss. The distortion runs both ways. The people who know you don't see the frozen photo either. They see you laughing, talking, mid-gesture, animated. Research on facial perception has shown that moving faces are consistently rated as more attractive than static images of the same person, an effect sometimes called the frozen face effect, documented by researchers including Robert Post and colleagues at UC Davis in 2012. They found that individual frames pulled from a video of a face were rated as less flattering than the video itself. The exact same face. The exact same moments. Motion made it better, stillness made it worse. So the photo isn't showing you what other people see. It's showing you something no one sees. A single dead frame, stripped of motion, stripped of context, stripped of the warmth people actually experience when they look at you. Your friends don't perceive you as a photograph. They perceive you as a presence. When they say the photo looks fine, they're not being polite. They're comparing it to the true face they know, and it matches. When you say it looks awful, you're comparing it to a flipped, enhanced, animated ghost that lives only in your head. You're both right. You're just looking at different people. And here's where this stops being about photos. Because this same machinery, familiarity dressed up as truth, runs your entire life. The songs you love most are usually the ones you've heard most. The foods that feel like home are the ones you grew up eating. The opinions that feel obviously correct are, suspiciously often, the ones you've been repeating for years. Zhajiang's mere exposure effect doesn't stop at faces. Your brain is constantly converting repetition into rightness, and you experience that conversion as taste, as judgment, as truth. How much of what you call your personality is really just the collection of things you've been exposed to the most? There's something oddly freeing in that. The discomfort you feel looking at a photo of yourself isn't evidence. It isn't your eyes finally seeing the awful truth. It's a prediction error, a mismatch between a template and an input. The same feeling you'd get if someone rearranged your furniture overnight. The room isn't worse, it's just not the room your brain expected. Given enough exposure, the feeling fades. People who see photos and videos of themselves constantly, actors, presenters, people who film themselves daily gradually stop flinching. Their template updates. The stranger becomes familiar, and familiar, as Zayonk proved, quietly becomes likable. So the next time someone shows you a photo and your stomach drops, pause. Remember what's actually happening. Your ancient brain, the one built to fear unfamiliar shapes at the waterhole, just flagged your own true face as an intruder. That's all the feeling is. A false alarm from very old hardware. Everyone else in that room is looking at the face they already know and like. The only person in the world who has never really seen your face is you. Someone just showed you a photo of yourself. And for the first time, you're looking at the only person in the room who's actually met you.